What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Buildit video. Today we're going to be talking about some of the difficulties that high level players face and how to combat those issues, like epic projects and limited space, or contest to mayor's prep, being successful at much of anything at a high level. So before we get started, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. We recently hit 1,600 subscribers, so as soon as we can hit 2,000, that'll be awesome. We'll have reached one of our goals at least. I know 2,000 subscribers is so little compared to most people. All right, you guys, let's get started. So you have a high-level city, and for whatever reason you haven't junked it. Maybe it's because you've had it for several years, or maybe it's not completely a goner, being how you have some stuff unlocked, or like maybe you're at max storage and you just don't want to give up on the city just yet. How can you make your epic projects easier and your contest to mayor's prep easier? Well, here's the thing. A lot of the times that high level players struggle, it's usually not necessarily because of something changeable. It's usually something that you can't really fix, if that makes sense. So for example, a lot of the ways that high level players struggle with regional maps, there's really no way around it. You kind of opened up that doorway and now you're kind of stuck dealing with it. However, when you guys do things like epic projects, and let's say you're level 40 something and you have 200 space, well, you have to look at the space that you're given. Okay, so at 200 space with all items unlocked. Okay, so let's open this up here. These are factory items for regionals. Now, they can ask for any one of these. Okay, usually I've never seen an epic ask for plastic, wood, or metal recently. Last time I saw them ask for stuff like that was 5 years ago, something like that. So usually the plastic, the metal, and the wood, you don't see epics ask for those, or nails. Aside from those few items, epics can ask for any of these. So then you have all of these items as well, which are your regular items. Every regional map that you've unlocked, you have to add in those items as well. And so when you continue on scrolling, look at this. Okay, now obviously the holiday stuff is out, unless you do your epics during the holiday. Now, looking at your allowed space that you have, however much that may be, look at your inventory itself. Okay, so break down your inventory into sections. Go down to the bottom and add up just the rares. How much of your inventory is taken up by just the rare items? Then add up the war items. Okay, so whatever you can do before you start your epic as a high level player, no matter what your storage amount is, the very first thing that you want to do is see if you can upgrade, if there's an easy way for you to get an upgrade done to maybe burn up some of the extra rares that you have. Not that they're really extra, but if you have any like dozer that maybe you're like 4 away from an upgrade, go ahead and do that. Try to get that upgrade done to clear up some extra space. Okay, so once you've kind of condensed all of your rares, then what you're going to do is you're going to look at your war items. If you're in war and you're somebody who doesn't really play war outside of the contest of mayors or whatever, try to burn through as many of those war items as possible to get those out of the way, because you need as much space as you can get. Okay, go to your shops, and what you want to do with your shops, hopefully if you are doing your epic, you're doing it somewhat prepared, right? I'm trying to teach you guys how to get prepared for your epic as a high level player. Part of that would include having all of your shops maxed out for starters and have all 11 items done and ready for pickup in each and every shop. This is going to allow you to have all of these items prepped and ready without taking up that additional inventory space, which, let's face it, when your inventory space is already minimal, you pretty much can take any help you can get, right? So anything that you can leave sitting here for you to be ready to pick up is basically something that you have, you own it, you can use it, you just aren't being penalized for having it because it's there on your screen, just hasn't been collected yet. That is going to be a huge, huge, huge help. I cannot tell you how many people I see. They start an Epic project, like let's say in the morning when they first open their game. They have all these items done and ready for pickup, and they clog up their inventory by collecting all of these items. What you could do, if you wanted to at least get the shops going, is go to each shop and collect one item, okay? Then, if your inventory is maxed out, it'll make it even easier. But what you can do is use the yellow arrow, cycle through, drop an item down, cycle over, drop an item down, and that way you have one item making and 10 ready for pickup. Once you've done this, then you can leave all of those sit there, okay? Go back to your inventory here and try to use up any of the stuff that you either are able to utilize easily, like let's say you can get the stuff easily on the global market. Either use it or put it for sale in your depot to get it out of the way. Like for example, I don't need 21 wood and 20 plastic right now. If I was doing an Epic project, I would get rid of all the sugar, all the wood, all the plastic. I might leave, depending on what your inventory space is. If you have, let's say 700 space, then yeah, you can leave 5 chems, 5 feed, 5 sugar, so that if you get the bubble to pop up, you can just donate it right away. You don't have to go to the global market. But the less space that you have, the less leeway you have for items like this. So you need to get rid of anything that you can obtain easily on the global market. There's no reason for you to carry it, right? If you can go get it on global easily, think of that as kind of like a backup storage facility, right? I mean, it's not really, but it kind of is. So once you've done that, then you can go to your regular items and then narrow in on what you think you're going to need the most of. For example, when you do an Epic project, and especially when you've done as many as I have, you learn the patterns, and it depends on what level you are, of course, on what items it's going to request. If you're, let's say, a level 24 player, the most expensive item that you really have at that level is like, what, rolls? I think at level 25 you get the ice cream. And those are super easy to find though, the ice cream. So you don't need as many of them. Now a lot of people, or you don't need as many rolls as you would think, because when you look at your Epic, right, you're going to be making sure that you are set up 100% right. What a lot of people do is they have few Epic pointers and terrible inventory. And that is like a horrible combination for success when it comes to Epics. What you want to have is you want to have a good inventory, a well-rounded inventory with as many Epic pointers as possible. So to recap, you're going to dispose of any items that you can obtain easily on the global market. You're going to prep your shops to be as efficient as possible, making items that are not easy to obtain. Don't be a fool and go to your barn and make a bunch of stupid veggies, right? Make something that is either hard to get, expensive, something that you think the Epic is going to ask for. Now, the next thing when it comes to Epic projects is once you've done your inventory prep the best that you can, what you would do is you would start the Epic. Now, if you're somebody who's doing an epic project for the contest of mayors, you're going to stop after you donate as many points as the assignment requires. That way, if you get another one, you can pick up where you left off and you don't have to start a whole new epic or wait for the 12-hour downtime timer. But if you're just doing an epic project for the hell of it, and I do not recommend this on the Missy's Building Guide, unless you are doing it for the contest of mayors on the Missy's Building Guide, do not burn through your epics and waste them. As a high-level player, though, you're totally cleared to do that. You can do as many epics as you want, really, without it being a major issue. That being said, once you start your epic, you have 24 hours to finish it. Now, basically, here's how it goes, okay? If you go on my channel and you look up the 15-minute gold epic, I will show you, I think, 2 videos I've done so far on that, where I did a timed epic, where I have every single item in the game unlocked, all regionals and everything, and I show you that you can hit gold in under 15 minutes or less with using 4-pointers and 3-pointers. That's not even including the 5-pointers that you can get, or even higher. With some of those stadiums and stuff, you can upgrade those quite a ways. Okay, so that is the next thing. You have to make sure you have enough pointers. You need to make sure that you put the 1s and the 2s in storage. That is essential. Okay, there's no reason whatsoever why you should be donating anything to a 1-pointer or a 2-pointer. As you donate to the buildings, the requirements, you know, as the items get donated, the next level of requirement is going to be usually more and more expensive as many times as you donate. So at some point, you're usually looking at your epic and let's say you have 10 3-pointers. Sometime right around between silver and gold, you'll start to realize that the epic picks up drastically in cost, okay? So sometime between silver and gold, you're going to start to see a repeated request for an item that you don't have, and it always finds the one item you don't have. So once it latches onto the one item that you don't have, whether it be drills or yoga mats or, you know, motors, ladders, paint, doesn't matter what it is. It's either something very low in value but takes forever to make, or it's something very high in value but doesn't take too long to produce. Either way, it's a pain in the butt. So usually you're looking at, if you have 10 of the buildings across, let's say the mountainside, right? Let's say you're doing a mountain epic. Usually 7 out of 10 are going to be asking for 5 of whatever that item is that it's chosen. Usually it's like bread rolls or something. So what you can do if you don't have anything that's needed in your epic is you can just donate the 1, you know, stack. Try to get some of those pointers the best that you can to, you know, kind of move things around a little bit, and then focus more on the 3 that aren't asking for the majority of whatever it is it's asking for. And try to do it that way rather than just donating 25 bread rolls. That's just nonsense. But basically, another thing that you can do if you're short on space is you can rely on your club members to kind of help you out. So sometimes what I would do back when I didn't have enough space is I would say, okay, you know what, I'm going to post, you know, shovels and hammers and just stupid stuff like this in my depot, and then I'll tell the group that I'm doing an epic project. I'll put out my requests for the items that I don't have because I don't have enough space, right? And then if I end up needing something that's from my depot, I can ask one of the group members to retrieve it for me, or I can use maybe another city that I have to do that as well. That's one way to do it. Another way is, you know, because you're only going to be able to do as much as you can do with the little space that you have. It's not going to be easy with 200 space when you have this many items and it's asking for a lot of items. but it is doable. Okay, the more pointers that you have, the less times you have to donate, and the more efficient your epics are going to be, the quicker you hit the top of the epic, right? Now, here's the thing. If you do an epic project with minimal inventory, you're going to need more coin because you have less inventory. A lot of people will, let's say you have an inventory of 700 and you're well stocked. You've done everything I've said here. You've got your all your factory items are gone. You've got all your rares condensed. You're well prepped. You're going to be able to, climb pretty rapidly to the top of your epic. Now, what's going to happen though is at some point the game's going to, slow you down a little bit, and it's going to start asking for things that you don't have. Now, the thing is a lot of people, they don't do everything that they should to do a 15-minute epic. They don't do every little thing. And if you don't do every little thing, it's not going to work properly. Okay, so if you want to hit gold epics in 15 minutes or less, then you either have to have a very large, well-rounded inventory with a lot of pointers, okay? Or you have to have a lot of pointers and a lot of cash, like a lot of coin, I mean. Because you're going to be having to buy all of that inventory that you don't have stocked up. So a lot of people will do epic projects with big inventories and think that it's costing them less, when in reality it's not costing you any more or less than the last guy. It's the same cost in terms of if you had two identical games, you know what I mean, side by side. The only difference is you're paying for a shit ton more because you don't have 500 items in your inventory right now. You're paying for them. And that's why I always tell people, when you're calculating up your epics, make sure that you calculate the items that are actually donated. Don't just look at your balance of your coins before the epic versus after. That doesn't even make sense. That's not accurate at all. So, yeah, that's how you're going to do your epics as a high-level player with no space. Just going to have to condense and do everything as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Another thing you can do is run tokens on the items that you don't have. For example, let's say it's asking for 25 drills. Out of the majority of your pointers, it's asking for quite a bit of those. I would put, let's say, 11 drills down, throw a token on it, proceed on with my epic, and then by the time 5 of them are done, I can at least, take care of that one epic pointer, that one building. Now, if you're in that situation where you have a combo of 4s and 3s, always try to get your highest one cleared out first. Okay, so donating to the 4 pointers is obviously going to be way more efficient than donating to the 3 pointers. If you have regionals unlocked and you are able to get them upgraded, depends on what you use your regional currency for and how much you're doing with your regionals, because those upgrades are not cheap. Okay, those hotspots take a long time to get up to 5-star or get up to 5 epic points. So just be aware of that. Now, for high-level players doing the contest of mayors, how can you benefit? How can you make it easier is what I should have said. So here's the thing with the contest mayors for high-level players with terrible cities like low inventory space and things like that. It is going to be very difficult for you guys if you are above, if you have regionals unlocked, and if you're anywhere between levels 31 and 43, that means that you've unlocked all the items in the game once you hit level 43. Once you've unlocked all the items in the game, it becomes really difficult to do your contest to mayor's prep. Not only the contest to mayor's prep, like for shops and stuff, but being able to do any assignment that you get given is not easy when you have those regional assignments. Okay? So the best advice that I have for you guys, if you want to make sure that you can do anything that comes across your way, this is what I do before I prep for the contest of mayors. So next week, hopefully, if I can get my act together this week, because I haven't been feeling very well, I'm going to be in Mega next week. What are some of the things that I do with my city before the contest? Well, first and foremost, I make sure that I have 3 houses right here, the 3 upgrades available, which right now I currently have no houses available. The reason that I want to make sure that I have 3 is because if I get a upgrade residential, like let's say upgrade Omega or something, I want to make sure that I can place down a new construction zone to ensure that I can at least get that assignment done not only quickly, because it's only asking for 1 Omega item, but to ensure that I can actually get it done, right? Okay, so the next thing that I want to make sure of is that I have enough tokens, which I know I do because I'm currently full. So what I will probably do is burn through some of my overflow tokens to make sure that I can collect the ones on the top of my buildings. Another thing I need to make sure of is that I have enough Omega items in my Omega bank to where I'm getting the promotion to pop up. Right now it's at 5,625. So if I do get an assignment for Omega coins that I have to do, which I probably won't do because when you play competitively you don't normally do this assignment, but if I need to, I can, right? So what's another assignment that I need to be prepared for? Well, if I get any kind of launch war assignments, right? So what I will do is I will go to my war cards, I will look at the legendary, the rare, and the common, and I'll calculate up the 3 cheapest and make sure that I have war items to launch 3 times for the 3 cheapest cards, right? And this will ensure that I can at least do the attacks if I get them. So another thing that I need to be prepared for is the war card upgrade task. Now this one is a little bit more tricky because I have so many war cards upgraded already to where they cost a lot of keys to do the next upgrade, and for many of them I don't have enough cards, and that is why I tell you guys, if you are people who want to play competitively, to slow down on your war upgrade cards because man, they get so expensive. Another thing would be the big thing for you guys as high level players is going to be those regionals. Now to prepare for the regionals, what I usually do is the week prior to entering into Mega, or if you're in Mega every single week, you have very little time. I try to run all of my regional shops consistently, making the largest item possible, and then I also need to make sure that I have quite a bit of the medium regional items. Not just the items, but in general I need to make sure that I have them so that if I get the regional currency assignment that I can do it, right? So like usually when you get the regional currency assignment, you click on those HQs, they start the timer, and typically they don't give you enough coins to finish the task by just simply doing the rows. More often than not, you have to pay the cash to bring in the other rows, and then even then you're still short some, unless you want to pay for piggy banks, which is ridiculous. So a good way around that is to make a ton of regional stuff, and that way when you get that assignment, you can click on the sim bubbles that pop up and sell them for regional currency, and this is going to save you a ton of cash and time. Now unfortunately, the regional items take a really long time to make, like 3 hours on most of the large regional items. So that's a big pain in the butt. So another thing that you want to do to prep is make sure that you are not clicking on the regional HQ until you're ready to actually do it. The moment that you click on that building, it starts the 24-hour timer. Otherwise, it just sits there idle until you click on it. Kind of like with the streak assignments where the 24-hour timer doesn't begin until you start the very first assignment. And that's another reason why I tell people not to do the streaks until about 20 tasks remaining. And to confirm that is 20 tasks remaining, that would not include tickets. So you should still have 15 tickets plus 20 tasks remaining. Now, another thing that I do to prep is I make sure that I have enough planks, nails, hammers, shovels, and tape for any kind of VU repairs. I also make sure that I have enough backpacks, microwaves, and corn, because let me tell you, those few items are a pain in the butt to get. You never see them on the global market, and they're asked for a lot in repairs. The backpacks and the corn especially. If I have to do an epic project during the contest, I need to make sure that I have enough currency for that and inventory for that. So making sure that I keep well-rounded inventory on things like paint. I also need to make sure that if I get production tasks to make things like ladders or gnomes or whatever, try to keep as much materials as possible if you get those production assignments. I can't tell you how much you guys have to keep track of your shops and your factories. Now, this one a lot of people don't do, and let me tell you, it really hurts you. You need to make sure that you're prepping your shops and your factories. Okay, so like at the beginning of the contest, usually what we do is 12 hours before the contest begins, we start the war. This allows us to get through the prep phase while COM is not in session. The moment that the contest mirrors begins, the attack phase starts for our club. We try to get as much done as fast as we can, as efficiently. You know, you want to be productive, but you want to make sure you're doing everything right, not, you know, making any mistakes because you're moving too fast. So once you do that, you know, you're going to go as quickly as possible through war number 1. Then we have a 12-hour cooldown, and then we go into war number 2. Usually try to make sure that all 15 tickets are used by the time second war is over. Otherwise, you risk not being able to finish all of your assignments on time, right? Because what's going to happen if I get a war assignment after second war ends and I still have tickets left or tasks left? It opens up the possibility that I'm not going to be able to finish my assignments. If I get a 3600 legendary launch legendary attack, I can't do it now because I'm not in war. Now, some people will pay hundreds of dollars to bring the monster back in hopes of being able to get their assignment done that way, but there are still assignments that you can't do even against the monster. You know, war assignments you can't do. And why would you want to spend hundreds of cash? You don't want to do that. Not to mention, there's also another added benefit to moving quickly. It kind of scares other people off. You know, it makes them think twice about wanting to put forth all this effort if they don't think they can reach your score. But if you constantly just stay just above them, they're going to always think, well, why not go for it, you know? Nobody's going to want to give up first place prize if they think they have a shot at it. So you want to make them think like, hey, you know, you ain't got a shot, right? So another thing that you can do, and honestly, this one, if you're playing competitively, is not usually advised, but you can keep uncollected money or uncollected taxes for those coin assignments. Typically, you don't do those in competitive comm very often, so, and it's such an easy task to get done anyway. but you can do that. For you beginner players, you do not have to make the item with the assignment started. You just have to collect the item with the assignment started. For example, if you have an assignment to make 11 flour, you can produce the 11 flour. Once the 11 flour are done, you then start the assignment and collect the flour. You don't have to start it first. Okay, you just have to make sure that it's started by the time you start collecting. That pretty much concludes the majority of the contest to mayor's prep. Another thing is making sure that you have enough VU. This is essential. You do not want to be in a situation where you don't have enough VU for the contest. If at any point you do end up completely out of VU, there are some things that you can do to try to, get more. Obviously check the side pass and see if there's any VU in the side pass, because if there is, that usually indicates that people are going to be selling quite a bit of it on the global market. But one of the things you can do is you can always pay cash for it if you're really, really stuck. And for those of you who don't know how to do that, what you would do is you would go to your VU tower. And when you put this down, you get the required items, right? So if it says like 1 battery and 3 gloves, and you don't have the 3 gloves, when you click that button, it's going to say, sorry, you don't have the items required. Would you like to pay cash? And it's going to charge you $20 per VU item for cash. So if you don't have the 3 gloves, it's going to be 60 cash for you. The point being, though, is what people will do is they'll go over here and they'll waste their neo-simoleons by buying them from here. And then when they don't have enough neo-simoleons, they spend cash on the remaining neo-simoleons to buy the VU, which in turn is actually more than 20 cash. To pay for the remainder of the missing coins ends up costing more in cash than it would to just buy the damn item. Same thing with the regional currency. When you do the shipments for the regional currencies and they ask for rare items, they give you 100 regional coins for a VU remote or, an airport item or whatever. Typically, though, what will happen is players will just say, screw it, I don't want to donate my lock. So they pay the 10, cash to bring in the next row. And the next row probably has rares that it's asking for as well. And then they end up paying 20 cash the next time. By this time, they're already 30 cash into it. They could have just bought the damn lock for, 18 or something? So sometimes it's just easier just to give the damn lock than it is to pay a bunch of cash to bring in more rows when you could have just bought the rare item. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's another thing. So house upgrades for you high level players, you need to make sure that you have items to do those. So if you are doing your inventory, stock, make sure that you have, I usually try to have 2 of every airport item, like Tokyo, London, and Paris, so that if I get an upgrade for it, or if the regional shipments ask for it, I'll have those available. Make sure that, okay, so you've got your war items, you got your airport items, your inventory's well stocked. If you do have any beach or mountain, I usually don't prep for those. It's been so long since I've had them anyway, but usually I would just wait until I got the assignment for it, and then I would look for them first. Do not start the assignment prior to looking for them. I think they only give you an hour to do it. So many people will be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna start it. It shouldn't take me long to find the remaining beach items, and then it takes forever and they end up missing their assignment. There's no reason to start it early. I think that pretty much concludes it. Oh, design challenge. That one is not going to be easy to prep for, and it usually comes back if you cancel it. So honestly, if you have it in your list worth a low value, even as a high level player, I would probably just avoid it so that you don't have to have the risk of it coming back worth a high value, you know? That would be what I would do. Same with the epic projects. Sometimes it's better to leave them sit at a low value so that they don't come in and cause problems. But usually for high level players, it's a lot easier for epics in the regard that they're not really limited, as they can continue to upgrade buildings, whereas low level players can't. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I think that pretty much sums it up. Just take a look here. You know, honestly, for high level players, it really comes down to the fact that you guys are mainly struggling because you have so many things unlocked and very little space to keep all of the things. Having to juggle everything is where the challenge comes in. That's why the game is a game. It's what makes the game what it is. If you were to eliminate all of that and just say, you know what, everybody gets unlimited space, it would destroy the game. There would be no challenge. You know, epics wouldn't be hard because you could just have endless amounts of items. You know, you wouldn't really even need to make items because you have unlimited, buy items because you have unlimited space. You could just make, 300 ladders and hold 300 ladders. You'd be able to just run tokens on stuff and hold unlimited amounts. It would absolutely destroy the technique in where you have to rotate things out for other things to achieve certain things, So good luck, you guys. If anybody here has a video request, you're more than welcome to submit it in the comments section. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to join us on Facebook, type in SimCity Buildit MissyAnneTTVYT. We post up all of the guides and links to videos, things like that are all posted up on our Facebook page. So if you want access to that, you just have to go on Facebook and type in SimCity Buildit MissyAnneTTVYT. Alright, you guys, good luck.